Revenge with Anjo.
Dr. Elena Price eased her car into the narrow coastal driveway, the sea wind lifting strands of her dark hair as she stepped out. The small blue house ahead shimmered under late afternoon sunlight, her parents' new home. The home she had bought for them, wrapped in quiet gratitude for 50 years of sacrifice. She smiled at the sight, holding a cake and a bottle of sparkling cider. Then her smile faltered. Another car was parked out front. The door stood open, voices inside, loud, unfamiliar. "Elena?" Her mother's voice came from the kitchen, tremulous. The woman's apron was damp with tears. "You're early, sweetheart. What's going on?" Elena asked, setting the cake down. Before her mother could answer, a man's voice rang out. "This is my house now. You got that?" Elena stepped into the hallway. Her father sat small in a dining chair, hands trembling. In front of him stood Derek, her brother-in-law, barefoot, beer in hand, pointing at him like a drill sergeant. "Don't look at me like that, old man. You're lucky we're letting you stay." Elena's pulse froze. On the sofa, Marissa, her younger sister, reclined like it was a resort, her bare feet up, laughter spilling from her lips. "Relax, Dad," she said, sipping from a glass. "We're just settling in." Elena's voice cut through the air. "Marissa, what are you doing here?" Her sister turned, smile dimming. "Oh, the doctor's here." Derek smirked. "Your folks told us about the beach place. Thought we'd help them out. You know, keep it in the family." The word family hit Elena like an insult. Her parents looked small and frightened in their own kitchen. Boxes were scattered, cartoons blaring on the TV, the air thick with fried food and beer. The home she had gifted them, her symbol of peace, now felt like a battlefield. "Help them out?" she asked evenly. Derek grinned. "Yeah. They don't need all that space. We're moving in upstairs. They can have the lower level." Elena's father tried to speak, his voice barely a whisper. "They said it was temporary." Elena turned to her mother. "Did you tell them they could stay?" Her mother hesitated. "They just came to see the house, honey. It all happened so fast. They said it would be easier for us, fewer stairs." Marissa stood, arms folded. "Stop acting like it's a crime, Elena. You're always controlling everything. It's just a house." Elena's jaw tightened. "It's not just a house. It's Mom and Dad's home." "Then you shouldn't have made it so perfect," Marissa sneered. "Maybe we wouldn't like it so much." For a moment, Elena said nothing. She had been here before. Not in this house, but in this dynamic. The sister who took, the parents who smoothed, the daughter who fixed. It had begun with small things: tuition payments, car repairs, an emergency loan. Each time, Elena had stepped in. Each time, she'd told herself it was love. Her mother had always said, "You were born responsible." Marissa's translation had always been, "You were born convenient." "Where's your sense of generosity?" Marissa teased now, swirling her drink. "My generosity," Elena said calmly, "is the reason you're standing in this kitchen." Derek laughed. "Oh, don't start with the money talk. Family helps family." "I agree," Elena said, walking closer, "which is why I helped Mom and Dad, not you." Marissa's face hardened. "You think you're better than us because you're a doctor?" Elena looked at her sister, the same eyes, same childhood, and said quietly, "No, just different." She placed her leather folder on the table. "Let's be clear. The deed is in a living trust. My parents have lifetime rights of occupancy. That means this house belongs to them, and to no one else." Derek's smirk slipped. "You think a piece of paper scares me?" "No," Elena said, "but the HOA rules might." She pulled out another sheet. "Short-term rentals are banned, and yet you listed the house this morning." Marissa blinked. "What are you talking about?" Elena turned her phone around, showing the Airbnb post with Marissa's photo and Derek's bank details. The color drained from Marissa's face. "You had no right." "I had every right," Elena said. "It's my parents' home. And you're trespassing." Derek stepped closer, chest puffed. "You think you can talk to me like that?" Her father stood shakily. "Derek. Sit down, old man." Derek snapped. Elena's voice turned cold steel. Don't speak to him that way. He grinned. Or what? Or, you'll find out what happens when you push the quiet one too far. Elena placed her phone on the counter. On the screen, an email draft addressed to the HOA board and county office, including the trust, deed, and listing link. Another tab showed a locksmith's number, Victor, already on his way. You wouldn't dare, Derek said. I already did. Marissa tried another angle. Elena, please. Don't do this. You'll ruin everything. Elena met her gaze. I'm not ruining anything. I'm restoring what was never yours. Her mother whispered, Do what you need to do, sweetheart. Derek's mouth twisted into a smirk that didn't reach his eyes. You're not gonna kick out family. That's bad PR, Doc. Elena didn't flinch. I don't do PR. I do precision. He blinked, thrown. Everyone to the living room, she said. Her voice wasn't raised, but it carried. Even the kids paused their cartoons. Derek hesitated, but followed, muttering under his breath. Marissa dragged her feet behind him. Elena placed her folder on the coffee table and began laying out documents one by one. This, she said, tapping the first paper, is the property deed. The house is owned by a trust, with my parents, Ruth and Harold Price, as lifetime beneficiaries. That means they have full and exclusive right of residence until they're gone. No one can override that. Derek leaned over the page. You sound like a lawyer. Close, she said. I learned from paying for one too many of your legal mistakes. Her sister groaned. Oh, come on, Elena. You're being so cold. Elena met her eyes. No, Marissa. I'm being clear. She slid another page forward, the Airbnb listing. Derek's email, Marissa's selfie, the caption, Oceanfront Family Gem. Book fast. Elena read it aloud. Booked every weekend through August. Bank account ending in 4729. Derek's jaw set. It's just business. You used our parents' home as inventory, she said. That's not business. That's theft. Her father's voice trembled. Elena, please. She looked at him gently. It's okay, Dad. You don't have to say anything. I've got this. Marissa reached for the paper. You think you can shame me in front of Mom and Dad? I think, Elena said evenly. You've been counting on them to protect you your whole life. But that ends now. Derek stood, squaring his shoulders. You can't tell me what to do. Elena's tone didn't rise. You're right. But the county sheriff can. The trust allows me to remove anyone who interferes with my parents' comfort. He laughed hollow. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Her phone buzzed. She lifted it and smiled slightly. That'll be Victor. The locksmith. Derek's eyes widened. You're bluffing. A knock came at the door. Marissa's face drained of color. Elena, please. Her mother's trembling voice broke through the tension. Do what you need to, sweetheart. Elena turned toward her sister. You're going to delete that listing, refund every renter, and hand over the key. Derek's voice dropped to a growl. You think you're saving them? You're just proving you're alone. Elena's expression didn't change. Alone is quiet. Quiet is peace. Victor changed the locks while Derek paced outside, ranting to anyone who'd listen. Marissa sat on the porch steps, tears smearing her mascara. The kids stood beside her, confused and silent. Inside, Elena helped her mother make tea. I'm sorry it came to this, Ruth whispered. It didn't come to this, Elena said softly. They brought it here. Her father stared at his hands. I should have said something. You did, Elena said. You called me. That was enough. From the porch, Derek shouted something about lawyers. Elena ignored him. It took 3 hours for the noise to fade. Victor handed Elena the new keys and left quietly. Derek's SUV backed out of the driveway with a squeal of tires. The kids pressed to the windows, the dog barking furiously. When the car disappeared around the corner, the air shifted. The house exhaled. Ruth collapsed into a chair, her hands covering her face. I didn't want it to get ugly. It didn't, Elena said. It just got honest. Her father's eyes welled. You shouldn't have to clean up after us. She smiled faintly. It's not cleaning up. It's setting right. Later that evening, she walked room to room, picking up juice boxes and toys, empty bottles and crumbs. The ocean hummed beyond the deck. She found a printed document in the guest drawer, Derek's business plan. Projected profit, 5 times the HOA fine. Scribbled in Marissa's handwriting, Elena won't say no if mom cries. She stared at the line for a long moment, then folded the paper neatly and placed it in the trash. That's enough crying for all of us, she murmured. Dinner was quiet but peaceful. She cooked simple pasta. Her parents insisted on setting the table. Her father poured lemonade, his hands finally steady. Her mother told a story about their first apartment, when they'd shared one pillow and called it romance. They laughed, real laughter that warmed the kitchen. When the dishes were done, Ruth touched Elena's hand. You shouldn't have to be the strong one all the time. Elena squeezed gently. Someone had to be, but I'm learning to stop. Her mother smiled. That's all I ever wanted. The next morning, the sky over the bay was a soft pink. Elena sat on the deck with coffee and watched her parents walking barefoot along the sand. For the first time in years, they looked unburdened. Her phone buzzed with messages from Marissa, long, emotional texts. You made mom cry. You'll regret this. Then one from Derek. Hope you like lawsuits. She didn't reply. She turned the phone face down, took a deep breath, and let the sea breeze wash through her lungs. By afternoon, the rumors began. Cousins texting, aunts calling. Why did you kick your sister out? She says you stole the house from her kids. Marissa had started her campaign. Elena didn't argue. She sent one short message to the family group. The house belongs to mom and dad. That's the truth. Then she muted the chat and went for a run along the cliffs. Each footstep felt like punctuation, steady, final, freeing. 2 days later, she received a notification. New listing posted, Seabreeze Cottage. Derek had tried again, under a different account. Same photos. Same arrogance. Elena exhaled slowly, then forwarded it to the platform's trust and safety team, attaching proof of ownership. 10 minutes later, the listing vanished. No satisfaction, just relief, like disinfecting a wound. Her father called that night. I slept through the night, Lena, he said. First time in months. Her mother sent a photo, her feet on the deck rail, toenails painted coral pink, the ocean shining beyond. The caption read, Feels like home. Elena smiled and saved it. That picture, not the deed, not the trust, was the real proof of ownership. Marissa didn't give up easily. She sent a Venmo request for emotional damages. She mailed their parents a handwritten letter beginning, as your primary caregiver, which had never been true. Derek posted memes implying Elena sold body parts for money. The noise was loud, but the house stayed quiet. Inside, the Prices began to heal. A week later, Ruth called. He tried to come back. Derek?
Yes.
He stood outside the gate for an hour. I told him the police were on their way. He left. Elena felt a chill. Are you okay? I am, her mother said, voice steadier than expected. For the first time, I said no and didn't apologize. Elena smiled softly. That's strength, Mom. Her mother laughed.
No, darling.
That's borrowed courage. Yours. The following weekend, Elena visited again. She fixed the squeaky door hinge, replaced the light bulbs, and labeled the breakers because her father liked neatness. Over pancakes, her mother said, I want to call Marissa. To make peace. To say no, Ruth replied simply. Not cruelly. Just clearly. Elena nodded. That's all I ever wanted. Her father looked at her with pride. You did what I should have done years ago. No, Elena said. You raised us. I just built a boundary. When she walked along the shore later, the wind tangled her hair, the same way it had the day she first gave them the house. But now it didn't sting, it soothed. She thought of how many years she'd confused peace with silence. How often she'd mistaken giving for loving. Love, she realized, wasn't endless sacrifice. It was structure. It was saying this far, no farther. It was letting go without guilt. Marissa called one evening from a blocked number. Elena answered, against her better judgment. Lena, her sister whispered. We're behind on rent. Derek lost his job. I don't know what to do. Elena closed her eyes. I'm sorry, Marissa. I can't discuss the house. So money means more than family now. Marissa's voice cracked. No, Elena said softly. Boundaries are how I can still love you without drowning. The line went silent. Then Marissa hung up. Elena sat for a long time afterward, phone heavy in her lap. She wanted to cry, but instead she just breathed. Some pain, she knew, wasn't meant to be cured, only outgrown. The next morning, she sent her parents a grocery delivery, fruit, coffee, and a note that said, Love you both. Always yours, Elena. Weeks passed. The house grew quieter, kinder. Her parents took walks, joined a local choir, learned their neighbors' names. They sent her photos of sunsets, of new curtains, of pancakes gone wrong. It feels like we're living again, her mother texted. Elena smiled. That's all I wanted. One evening, her niece, a teenager with Marissa's eyes but a softer heart, messaged her. Grandma says you fixed everything. The house looks pretty. Elena typed back, come visit with her sometime. No bookings, just pancakes. The girl replied with a laughing emoji and okay. For the first time, Elena felt a bridge that wasn't built on guilt, but on choice. A month later, Elena drove down after a long surgery. The house glowed like a lantern against the twilight. Through the window, she saw her father reading in his chair, glasses slipping down his nose. Her mother sat nearby, humming over a puzzle. The ocean murmured beyond them, constant and soft. Elena didn't go in. She stood on the sidewalk and let the scene settle in her chest. This quiet, this safety was the point. Not punishment, not pride. Just protection. She whispered to herself, love is paperwork that holds when people don't. She turned back toward her car, the wind carrying salt and the scent of new beginnings. Inside the house, the laughter of her parents drifted through the open window. She smiled, knowing that peace didn't come free. It came earned, line by line, choice by choice. Here's what Elena Price learned. A gift should never cost you yourself. A boundary is not cruelty. It's care with a backbone. Love is a house with good light, doors that lock, and people inside who finally rest without fear. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do for family is say, no more. Because that's when love finally starts breathing again.